I'm Tristan. I'm a 30-year-old office worker. My wife, Lily, is a 27-year-old housewife. We don't have children. Our life as a married couple began to waver little by little. Somewhere along the line, my wife's attitude toward me became cold, and she's been getting dressed up and going out late and staying out more and more often, and she would often refuse to spend the night as a couple with me, becoming glued to her smartphone all the time, even inside the house. I was uncomfortable with my wife's obviously changed attitude, and although I felt guilty, I decided to check the contents of her phone. My wife's phone had a password set on it, but it had not been changed from the password I had previously heard before, so it was easy to unlock it. And when I checked the contents of the email, there was a suspicious email exchange, just as I expected. From the email exchanges, it appeared that the cheating partner was a man named Tyler, and there were 2 photos of the 2 of them together, as well as some daring photos of them doing the deed at their workplace. There was also a calendar application, so I looked at it and saw heart marks and several entries. When I recalled the dates and the things my wife did around those dates, I found that they coincided with the days she had dressed up and gone out or when she had stayed out overnight. Perhaps the hearts indicated the days she did the act with her lover. Apparently, their relationship had been going on for about a month, and they saw each other almost every day. My birthday and even our wedding anniversary were no exceptions. She was saying, "Congratulations," with a big smile in front of my face. But behind my back, she was seeing her lover. I felt betrayed. Well, I had a busy work schedule and worked overtime a lot, so it was always late at night when I got home. I can't blame my wife. I think that I may have made her feel lonely. That does not mean it was okay for her to cheat. From the emails, my wife seemed to have feelings for the person with whom she was having an affair. There were many conversations in which the 2 of them exchanged emails that contained very harsh words towards me. That was harsh indeed. I wondered if that were my wife's true feelings, and she frequently appeared to be discussing her love, her desire to leave me, and her desire to marry the man with whom she was having an affair. My heart ached as if it had been stabbed with a knife. After I found out that my wife was cheating on me, I was at a loss as to how to deal with her. After worrying for a while, I decided to change my mind and devote myself to my wife from then on. I tried to finish my overtime work as early as possible and actively helped with household chores. I tried my best to talk to my wife when I was at home to keep her smiling as much as possible. If I become a good husband, my wife may return to me again. With that one thought in mind, I made sure to put my wife above all else. Then, my wife seemed to become a little gentler towards me. My wife talked to me more often, and we seemed to have more conversations, watching TV together, and even laughing with each other over dinner. "We should combine our vacation time and go on a trip together." When my wife said that to me, I felt a sense that my feelings were coming back a little, and I was very happy. One day, I had some time off work and bought a weekly magazine at a concession stand. When I got home, I casually put that weekly magazine on the table, and my wife was reading it. "What are you reading?" I asked my wife. "What if I fell in love with someone else?" she asked and I responded, "You'd never cheat on me. You'd never do such a thing, right?" I said exaggeratedly. Then my wife jokingly responded, "I don't know about that. No one knows what the future holds." She chuckled. I asked once more, "You'd never do that, would you? I believe in you." I noticed a momentary cloudiness in my wife's expression. I knew that accusing her of cheating here was not going to get me anywhere. I thought it would be more effective to appeal to her conscience by saying that I believed her. And then, "I'm sorry for making you feel lonely up until now. That's why I want to spend more time with you from now on, Lily. Because you're the most important person for me. That's why I want you to believe in me. I will believe in you no matter what." When I said that, Lily began to cry. And then, "I'll always have faith in you too, no matter what," she said while crying. After that, I continued to check my wife's phone regularly, but she was definitely seeing her unfaithful partner less frequently than before. They used to see each other almost every day, but now they saw each other once a week or less. The contents of the emails also seemed to have become more acrimonious, unlike the lovey-dovey emails of the past, and I sensed that my wife was definitely feeling distance from her cheating partner. I was so happy that I wanted to make a victory pose. If things keep going this way, there's a chance my wife and her lover will break up. And recently, my wife has been expressing her affection for me. I was really happy that my efforts had been rewarded. Now, I can get revenge on Lily. That made me happy more than anything else. Yes, These past few months, I've been thinking about getting revenge on my wife. That's all I've been thinking about. I no longer had any love for my wife. Just getting her to stop cheating on me was not enough for me. I want my wife, who betrayed me, to experience more despair than I did. With that one thought in mind, I did my best. I want to give the man she cheated on me with the harshest punishment, but Lily was also the woman whom I once decided to spend the rest of my life with. Although she cheated, I also did wrong, so I couldn't suddenly feel hateful towards her. When I saw photos of her having intimate acts with a man on her phone, my feelings suddenly turned cold. The emails I saw later were the final blow. "Hey, we see each other every day. What would happen if we had a child? Well, I might be happy though. I have an irregular menstrual cycle, so even if I say it's my husband's child, he might not even notice. But I'll make sure you get to meet the child properly." When I saw this email from Lily, it was the moment I knew I would never forgive her. I then went to the detective agency on the same day and asked them to investigate my wife's affair. And for proof, I forwarded all the emails and pictures of the affair that were on my wife's phone to my phone. I also asked the detective agency to collect evidence. At the time, when the two were still meeting daily, it would have been easy to take pictures of their secret meetings. I had already gathered enough evidence to question my wife, but it still didn't make me feel better. So here's what I came up with. If I am as kind as possible to my wife and her heart comes back to me, then my calculations were correct. But I can't find peace until I make my wife feel the same frustration, sadness, and despair that I experienced from being betrayed by someone I trusted with all my heart. I wasn't just content with stopping the affair. I'll be patient, kind, and gentle to my wife, and when I'm convinced that her feelings for me have returned, I'll confront her with the evidence. I knew that if that happened, my wife would try very hard to seek my forgiveness. With a single-minded determination to make that plan work, I tried my best to smile and do chores I didn't want to do. What was toughest of all was the sexual activity with my wife. I embraced my wife's solid body, knowing that she was having an affair with another man. As expected, I was nauseous afterwards and could not sleep at night, but it was clear that my wife's feelings were returning to me. The result of the investigation by the detective agency revealed that my wife's cheating partner was also married. Apparently, his name is Tyler, and he's 27 years old and works for a major company. I found out the address and went to see him, but he was walking with his wife. The wife was very beautiful, clearly more beautiful than my wife. I couldn't imagine having an affair with such a beautiful wife, but, well, I guess married couples have their own reasons that people around them don't quite understand. Either way, forgiveness was not an option for me. I gathered my wife and her parents at my parents' house to execute the plan. My mother cooked for us, and we all ate and laughed together. With the right timing, I decided on my next actions. Suddenly, I began to shed tears. Everyone was quite surprised to see it. "What's wrong?" everyone asked me. I responded. "Excuse me," I said, rushing to the bathroom. I then put on the eye drops I had prepared, making it look like tears were streaming from my eyes, and returned to everyone. Sure enough, everyone started to ask, "Tristan, what's wrong? Anything the matter?" Everyone asked worriedly. "No, I'm sorry for ruining you. I was just sad to think that this would be the last time we would all get together like this," I said. "What do you mean, the last time?" the relatives all asked in hushed tones, and everyone turned to look at me. As my wife looked at me with a worried expression, I signaled the start of my solo performance. "Lily and I are getting a divorce." There was a moment of silence when I said this, then, all at once, a startled cry of surprise. "Why are you getting a divorce?" Ignoring my wife's shocked expressions as she stared at me in surprise, I continued speaking amid the voices asking questions. Recently, I felt a sense of discomfort with the change in my wife's attitude towards me, as she's become colder and increased her overnight stays outside. That's why I had her checked at the detective agency. And so, I laid out on the table the investigation report and other documents, including email correspondence and the photos of my unfaithful wife and her partner. And I didn't want to put this out there either. And with that preface, I also showed the picture of my wife and her lover doing the deed. Everyone, including my wife's parents, froze instantly. Then my wife started talking. "Stop!" she said loudly and covered the table to hide the photos. My father-in-law pulled my wife to her feet and slapped her, and my wife intervened. "Let's just calm down for now," my father said, trying to soothe the situation. My wife panicked. It's a misunderstanding. Trust me. She was making painful excuses, but with so much clear evidence in front of her, there was no way she could get away with it. My strategy did not end there. In fact, I had contacted Julia, Tyler's wife, and told her everything beforehand. I discussed the possibility of having a family gathering and asked if she could come at this time. Julia agreed. I immediately contacted Julia, and about 30 minutes later, Tyler and his wife and Tyler's parents also arrived. In fact, I had contacted Julia and Tyler's parents based on the information from the detective agency. I told them everything that had happened, and had also told them in advance that I would invite them all to this dinner. Julia and Tyler's parents had arrived. As soon as they arrived, Julia started talking. I am truly sorry for any inconvenience my husband has caused you, she said, apologizing. I responded, Why are you apologizing? You're the victim, I said. I looked at the unfaithful man, and he was standing there with a blank, pale face. Once everyone was present, the discussion began anew. The two parties involved, as expected, decided that there was no more room for deception and admitted to the affair. My wife started talking. I am so sorry. Please forgive me because I will never do anything like this again, she said while clinging to my leg, crying out in shame. I looked down at my wife and was pleased that my hopes had been fulfilled. Her parents-in-law started talking. That's enough, they said while pulling her away. Eventually, both Tyler and his wife and my wife ended up getting a divorce, and they both had to pay alimony to their respective spouses. My wife was a full-time housewife, so my parents-in-law paid the alimony. I'm prepared to pay as much as you want. Me too, as apology, my father-in-law promises. The amount will be decided after consulting with a lawyer. When it was over, I realized that I may have missed out on something. In fact, after that incident, I became friendly with Julia, Tyler's wife. We exchanged messages through emails and went out for meals several times. Maybe it will turn out to be a good thing. Julia has a great personality as well as good looks, so I hope to get closer to her in the future. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to your next viewing. Please also subscribe to our channel.